Hey guys, my name is Max and I will be leading you through a hip and shoulder opening vinyasa flow today. This class is all levels. Feel free to modify as you need to, add or subtract any movement. Nothing is required of you except you and your practice space, but if you do have a couple blocks, maybe a bolster, they might come in handy. We'll go ahead and get started at the back of our mat in a comfortable seat. I'm going to take a kneeling pose, virasana, but if you'd rather get started in a child's pose or lying on your back, you're more than welcome to go there as well. Finding a position that is best for you to find your breath. Finding a position that is best for you to arrive onto your mat. And maybe begin by closing your eyes. Maybe lengthening through the spine. Rolling your shoulder blades up towards your ears and then down away from them. Slight tuck of the chin in towards the chest. Releasing your lower jaw from your upper jaw. Releasing the space in between your eyebrows. And then starting to become aware and conscious of your breath. Releasing anything that may have happened before stepping onto your mat. Releasing any anticipation for what's going to happen after you step off of your mat. Intentionally choosing to be here right now. Showing up fully into this present moment the best that you can. And then starting to develop your own rhythm of breath here. So whether that's your ujjayi breath by gently constricting the muscles at the back of your throat and creating a soft ocean sound as you breathe in and out through your nostrils, creating some internal heat. Maybe you want to pause in between your inhalations and your exhalations. Trying your best to be conscious and aware of every inhale and every exhale that you take for the next hour. And when you find your awareness shifting to a thought or a stretch or a sensation, an emotion, just bringing it back to your breath. You're welcome to stay here if you need some more time. Otherwise, we're going to move into some movement, and we're just going to start in a tabletop position with our hands underneath our shoulders, our knees underneath our hips. And we'll just start by finding some organic movement here. So I like to start just by finding some circles over my palms. I'm starting to take some circular movements with the pelvis and the hips, maybe protracting, retracting through the shoulders. Maybe taking some cat-cow-like movements, maybe rolling out through the head. Maybe switching the direction, going the opposite way. And then maybe flipping your hands so they face the sides of the room, and then continue with your intuitive movement here. Shifting to one side and then the other. And then if it's available to you, maybe you can flip your hands all the way around so your fingertips face your knees and find some gentle forward and back movement there. And then we're going to take some cat-cow movements from here with our fingertips flipped. If it's not available to you, you can always just flip your hands back forward. Whenever you're ready, finding a neutral tabletop, and then on your next inhale, letting the belly drop. Collarbone spread wide, chest goes forward, gaze goes slightly forward. And on your exhale, rounding through your back, shoulder blades go wide, belly button hugs towards your spine. Good, inhale, rounding back forward into your cow. And then the exhale, rounding back into your cat. Good, inhale into your cow. Exhale into your cat. Inhale back into your cow. And exhale back into your cat. Good, releasing that, coming back to a neutral tabletop, flipping your hands back around. We're going to root down through the left palm, and then send the right fingertips up towards the sky. Make a fist with the right hand and take some wrist circles with the right wrist. And then switch the direction, go the other way. And then spread out wide through the right fingertips. Take an inhale, open up the heart even more towards the sky. On the exhale, thread the needle, right arm comes in between left palm and left knee. Right cheekbone comes down. And taking a couple deep breaths here. If you want the half bind, reaching around with your left hand for your right hip crease, you can go there. And then maybe close your eyes. Good, gently releasing that. Left palm roots back down. Inhale, send the right fingertips back up. And on the exhale, gently releasing, letting that side go. Maybe rock from side to side. Find your organic movement. And then same, just on the other side. So left fingertips reach up, making a fist with the left palm. Take those wrist circles one direction. And then switch the direction, go the other way. And then spread out wide through the fingertips. Take an inhale, open up the heart. And on the exhale, thread the needle, left arm in between right palm, right knee. Maybe take the half bind, maybe close your eyes. A couple deep breaths here. Good, gently pushing your right palm back down towards the floor. Inhale, reaching the left fingertips back up towards the sky. And on the exhale, gently release it back down. From here, we're going to start to activate in towards our right leg, and we're going to do that by taking some hip circles. So lifting the right leg up off the mat, and having your knee bent, you can straighten through the leg, taking some circles, plantar and dorsiflex through the foot, take some ankle rolls. Then again, don't think about your movement too much. Just allow yourself to move and to wake up into that right leg. And then switch the direction if you haven't already. Go the opposite way. And then from here, we're going to step our right foot all the way to the outside of our right palm, adjusting your stance as you need to, maybe sliding your back knee back a couple inches for a lizard lunge. And then option to stay here if it's enough for you. If you want to use your blocks and place them underneath your hands for some more space, you can do that as well. Or you can start to walk your hands forward and start to extend your lizard. Still reaching your chest forward as you start to move your torso a little bit closer towards the floor, and stay here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, gently walking your hands back underneath your shoulders, and then taking a half splits variation, straightening out through the right leg and folding on the inside of that right leg. And sending your right hip back, your left hip forward, toes are flexed up towards your knee, keeping a micro bend into that knee as well, and staying here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, gently bending back into that right knee, and then just moving back into your tabletop. Just stepping that right knee back. Shifting your hips from side to side. Some cat-cow, snake-like movements as we move into the other side. So left leg activation. Lift your left leg up off the mat. Point, stretch the foot. Point or bend and straighten through that left knee. Again, don't think about the movement too much, just move. And then maybe switch the direction, go the other way. And then as gently as you can, we're going to step that left foot to the outside of the left hand. Maybe slide your back knee back a couple inches for your lizard lunge. Again, use your blocks. Maybe you start to walk your hands forward. And think baby cobra with the chest here. So shoulder blades are down your back, chest is reaching forward. And at the same time, maybe you can start to sink your torso a little bit closer towards the floor and stay here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, gently walking your hands back underneath your shoulders. And then half splits variation, folding on the inside of that left leg. Toes are flexed, left hip back, right hip forward. Breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, gently bending back into that left knee, back into your tabletop, adjusting your stance as you need to here. Good. From our tabletop, our hands are underneath our shoulders, our knees are underneath our hips, and we're going to tuck our toes under and lift our knees up, just barely, an inch or 2 up off the mat. Activating through our low belly core here, so tucking your tailbone, hugging your low belly up and in, wrapping your biceps forward, having your gaze directly in between your hands here, lengthening through the back of the neck, and then stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, we're going to come into our first Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, adjusting your stance as you need to here. And then from your downward facing dog, we're going to take some rolls into plank and then back into downward facing dog. So what I mean by that, on your next inhale, coming forward into your plank. And then exhale, hover your knees up off the mat, sink your hips down towards your heels, and then come all the way back into your downward facing dog. A couple more of those, and then inhale, rolling forward into your plank. Exhale, sink your hips back towards your heels, back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward into your plank. Exhale, sink your hips back into your downward facing dog. Good, let's do 2 more on the inhale, roll forward into your plank. Exhale, sink it back into your downward facing dog. Good, last one, inhale back into your plank. Exhale, sink your hips back, knees hover, back into your downward facing dog. Good, on your next inhale, we're going to roll back forward into our plank, but we're going to pause there. And breathe. Activate through your glutes, hug your low belly in towards your spine. And then stay here, maybe lift your right toes up off the mat. Maybe come onto your left fingertips. Maybe you can reach your left fingertips forward for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, back into your plank. Maybe your left foot lifts. Maybe you can come onto your right fingertips. Maybe you can reach your right fingertips forward for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, back into your plank. As slowly as you can, on a count of 5, we're going to lower all the way down towards our bellies for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, lowering all the way down, untucking the toes, rooting down to the tops of the feet. Hands go a little bit wider than shoulder width distance, coming onto your fingertips. Taking some rounds of oscillating cobra here on the inhale, lifting your head, neck, and chest up off the mat. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, lifting back up. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift back up and pause. Maybe let your left shoulder fall in as you look over your right. Inhale, back up. Exhale, let your right shoulder fall in as you look over your left. Good, inhale, back up. And exhale gently as you can, lowering all the way down. Bring your hands by your sides, palms facing down. We're going to take a round of Shalabhasana, locust pose. On your next inhale, lifting your head, neck, and chest up off the mat. And then also your feet, also your knees, and then also your hands. Activating through your posterior chain here, your back body. And lifting higher if you can. Maybe interlacing your hands behind your back if that's available to you. And lift even higher still. And stay here for 5. Activate through your toes. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Keep the back of the neck long. Lifting up your chest for 5. For 4. Lift up a little bit higher for 3. For 2. On 1, gently lowering all the way down. Bring your left cheekbone down towards the mat. Arms come out to a T. Bend through your right knee and then roll to the outer edge of your left hip. Swimmer stretch, breathing into your left shoulder girdle. And then you can interlace your hands behind your back. If you want a different stretch sensation, you can take a cactus arm, 90-degree angle with the left arm. And then wherever you are, breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, gently coming back to center. And then just switching the sides. Right arm comes out to a T. Right cheekbone comes down. Bend through your left knee. Send it up and over, rolling onto the outer edge of your right hip. And breathing into your right shoulder for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently coming back to center. Placing your hands underneath your shoulders, tucking the toes under on the inhale, pushing up into a high plank. And on the exhale, sending it back into a downward facing dog. Good. From your downward facing dog, we'll go through a few Surya Namaskar A's, moving breath to movement. Feel free to add, subtract any movement that you see fit for yourself. Whenever you feel ready, we're going to bend the knees, step or float to the top of the mat. On the inhale, take a halfway lift, flat back. On the exhale, fold, let it go. On the inhale, come up, stretch up, take your gaze up towards the sky. On the exhale, cactus out the arms, open up the heart. On the inhale, reach back up. On the exhale, fold back forward. Inhale, halfway lifting, flat back. On the exhale, plant the hands, step, float, jump it back, vinyasa or skip it. Meeting back in your downward facing dog. And breathing here for 5. For 4, rooting down through your pointer finger and your thumb, your inner palm. For 3, sending your hips up a little bit higher. For 2. On 1, bending the knees, stepping or floating to the top of the mat. And then inhale, halfway lift, flat back. And the exhale, fold, let it go. And the inhale, come up, stretch up, take your gaze up towards the sky. And the exhale, cactus out the arms, open up the heart, spread wide through the fingertips. And the inhale, reaching back up. And the exhale, gentle bend in the knees as you fold back forward. And the inhale, halfway lifting, flat back. And exhale, plant the hands, step, float, jump it back, vinyasa or skip it. Meeting back in your downward facing dog. For 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, bending the knees, stepping, floating, jumping to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lifting, flat back. Exhale, fold, let it go. Inhale, come up, stretch up, take your gaze up towards the sky. And exhale, cactus out the arms, open up the heart. Inhale, reaching back up. Exhale, folding back forward. Inhale, halfway lifting, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step, float, jump it back, vinyasa or skip it. Meeting back in your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, let's bring the big toes to touch, slight gap into the heels. Reach your right leg up and back, bend the knee, open up the hip, take some circles. Maybe switch the direction. And then straighten out through the leg, even out through the hips, take an inhale. On the exhale, right knee to right tricep, shift forward. Inhale, send it back up. And exhale, right knee towards your left tricep. Inhale, send it back up. And exhale, knee towards your nose. As gently as you can, come into a low lunge. Step your foot in between your hands. Back knee comes down, untuck the toes. Inhale, reaching the hands up towards the sky. Good. From here, taking an inhale on the exhale, cactus bend into that right knee a little bit deeper. Inhale, reaching back up. Exhale, cactus bend into the knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus bend. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus bend. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus bend and pause. Option to stay here. Option to interlace your hands behind your back, right thumb on top of left. And open up your heart, open up your collarbones. Open up your chest. Maybe you can let your gaze fall back for 5. For 4. For 3. For 2. On 1, gently releasing the hands. Bringing them down to frame that right foot, tucking your back toes under, lifting your back knee up. Then maybe stepping your back foot up 6 inches to a foot as you start to straighten out to that right leg for your modified pyramid blocks. Can definitely come in handy here. And adjusting your stance as you need to here as you start to breathe into your right hip, right hamstring. Sending your right hip back, your left hip forward. Lengthening through both sides of your torso for 5. Maybe let your head go for 4. For 3. For 2. On 1, we're going to transition into a standing splits, reaching the left leg up and away from you. Then we're going to come into a one-legged Tadasana, bringing that left knee in towards your chest, coming all the way up to standing, reaching your fingertips up towards the sky. And then maybe straightening through the left leg, activating through your left hip flexor here, hugging your low belly core up and in, and staying here for 5. Maybe lifting that floating leg a little bit higher for 4. For 3. For 2. On 1, gently as you can, now letting that left foot land next to your right. Taking an inhale here, reaching your fingertips up towards the sky. On the exhale, cactus out the arms, open up the heart. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, gently fold back forward. Inhale, halfway lifting, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step, float, jump it back, vinyasa. Or skip it. Meeting back in your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, big toes to touch, left leg goes up and back. Bend the knee, open up the hip, take some circles. Maybe switch the direction. And then straighten out through the leg, even out through the hips, take an inhale. And then exhale, left knee, left tricep, shift forward. Inhale, send it back up. Exhale, left knee towards your right tricep. Inhale, send it back up. Exhale, knee towards your nose, gently as you can, low lunge. Back knee comes down and tuck the toes. Reaching the fingertips up. Taking an inhale here. On the exhale, cactus bend into that left knee. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, cactus bend, spread out wide through the fingertips. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, cactus bend. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus bend. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus bend and pause here. Also an option to interlace your hands behind your back, left thumb on top of right this time. As you start to open up through the heart, through the chest, through the shoulders, maybe let your head fall back for 5. For 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, gently releasing the hands, bringing them down to frame that left foot, tucking your back toes under, lifting your back knee up, stepping your back foot up, 6 inches to a foot, 45-degree angle of that back leg, maybe grabbing your blocks for your modified pyramid pose, straightening through that left leg, left hip back, right hip forward, lengthening through both sides of your torso here for 5, 4,
3, 2. On 1, standing splits, bending into that left knee, reaching the right leg up and away from you. And then one-legged Tadasana, bringing that right knee in towards your chest, reaching the fingertips up. Staying here or straightening through the right leg, activating through that hip flexor. Lifting up higher for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently bringing it back down. Inhale, reaching the fingertips up even higher. On the exhale, cactusing out the arms, open up the heart. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, fold back forward. Inhale, chair pose, bend the knees, drop the hips, sink it down. Tucking your tailbone in and underneath you here, hugging your low belly core up and in. See if you can sink down just a little bit deeper. And just a little bit deeper still. And then taking an inhale here, on the exhale, we're going to take a drinking bird as our hands sweep back, palms facing down, coming onto our tippy toes. On the inhale, back into your chair. On the exhale, heels lift, drinking bird. Inhale, back into your chair. Exhale, drinking bird. Inhale, back into your chair. Exhale, drinking bird. Inhale, back into your chair. And exhale, drinking bird. And pause here. Staying here, maybe you can interlace your hands behind your back. And then as gently as you can, let your heels drop down as you start to come into a bound Uttanasana, forward fold. Having a generous bend in the knees here as you let your arms come up and over. If the bind isn't available to you, it's definitely not required. If you have a strap or a t-shirt, you can use that to make the bind. And then you have an option to stay here, or you can start to bend through your right knee, straighten through your left leg, take your gaze over your left shoulder towards the sky. And then switching direction, going the other way. Bending through the left knee, straightening through the right leg. Take your gaze over your right shoulder. Good. Gently releasing the bind, coming into a neutral Uttanasana, forward fold, letting all of that go. And the inhale, take a halfway lift, flat back. And the exhale, fold, release it, let it go. And the inhale, come up, stretch up, take your gaze up towards the sky. And the exhale, cactus out through the arms, open up through the heart. Good. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, fold, back down. Inhale, halfway lifting, flat back. And exhale, plant the hands, step, float, vinyasa, jump it back. Meeting back in your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, big toes to touch, slide up into the heels. We're going to reach our right leg up and back. We're going to take 5 handstand hops, and we're going to meet in a high crescent lunge at the top of our mat with our right leg forward. Don't think about it too much, just start to move into it for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, your right foot's going to be forward. Your left leg's going to be back. Coming up into your high crescent lunge, adjusting your stance as you need to here. Taking an inhale and then cactusing through the arms and let your back knee land on towards the mat. From there, your torso is going to turn over towards the left about 45 degrees. And then you're going to let your left arm slide down your back leg as you reach your right arm up and away. Maybe you can reach all the way back for that left heel. Taking your gaze up. Good. Inhale, reaching both hands back up towards the sky. Exhale, find your cactus, and then turn your torso 45 degrees to the right. Maybe your back hand slides down your back leg, your thigh, your calf. Maybe you can reach back for the back heel, reaching your left arm up and away. Maybe your gaze goes up. And then from here, we're going to transition into a prayer twist. So your left elbow is going to come to the outside of the right thigh. Your prayer hands are going to come to heart center. And with your back toes tucked, maybe you can lift your back knee up off the mat. And breathe here. On your inhales, lengthening through your spine. On the exhale, see if you can go a little bit deeper into the twist as you pull your right hip back. And you can stay here. You can open up through the arms. You can take a bind if that's in your practice. And breathe here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, we're going to come into an extended side angle. So our back heel is going to spin down. Our right hand is going to come on the inside of that right foot, maybe on top of a block, as you reach your left hand up towards the sky. And then again, option to stay here, option to take a bind. And breathe for 5. Keeping that right bum cheek in and underneath you for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, we're going to come all the way up into a reverse triangle, straighten out through the right leg, reach your right arm up and away. And on the exhale, circling the hands all the way down, going through a vinyasa, skipping it completely, leading back your downward facing dog. Good. From your downward facing dog, left leg goes up and away. 5 handstand hops. Don't think about it too much. Jumping off your right foot, left foot's going to be forward, right foot's going to be back for your high crescent lunge for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, left foot goes forward, right foot goes back. Coming up into your high crescent lunge, reaching the fingertips up. Taking an inhale on the exhale, cactus, and bring your back knee all the way down to plant. And then turn your torso over towards the right. Maybe let your right hand slide down that back leg. Maybe you can reach back for the heel, reach your left arm up and away. Maybe take your gaze up. Good. Inhale, reaching the fingertips back up towards the sky. Exhale, cactus. Bring your torso over towards the left, 45 degrees. Left arm reaches back towards that back leg. Maybe you can reach for the heel. Right arm reaches up and away. Good. From there, prayer twist. Right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Hands to your sternum, heart center. Lift your back knee up off the mat. Pull your left hip back as you extend the crown of the head forward. And breathe for 5. Open up the arms, take the bind for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, extended side angle. Left hand on the inside of that left foot, maybe on top of a block, reaching your right fingertips up. If you want the bind, by all means, go there. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, coming all the way up into your reverse triangle, straighten out through the left leg. Left arm reaches up and away. Then circling your hands all the way down. Going through a vinyasa or skipping it. Meeting back in your downward facing dog. Good. Adding on here, same flow. We're just going to add a couple poses to it. Again, right leg goes up and back. Handstand hops, don't think about it too much. For 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, right foot forward, left foot back. High crescent lunge, reaching the fingertips up. And the exhale, cactus out through the arms. Let your back knee land, keep the toes tucked. Turn your torso over towards the left, 45 degrees. Let your back hand find your back foot. Right arm reaches up and away. Good. Inhale, reaching the hands back up. Exhale, cactus, 45 degrees to the right. Right hand reaches back for the back heel, or wherever it can catch. Left arm reaches up and away. Good. Left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Crescent lunge, prayer twist. Lift your back knee up. Take the bind, open up the arms, and breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On one, extended side angle, back heel spins down. Right fingertips on the inside of that right foot. Left fingertips reach up, option for the bind. And breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On one, coming all the way up, reversing your triangle, straightening out through that right leg, right arm reaches up and away. And then finding your triangle pose from here, reaching your right fingertips as far forward as they will go. Fingertips slide down that right shin, maybe grab your block, maybe reach for your ankle, your right big toe. Left arm reaches up towards the sky for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming all the way back up into your reverse triangle. And we're going to pick our right toes up and then turn them in so all of our toes are coming in. And we're going to come into a twisted, wide-legged forward fold. So our right hand's going to come towards the outer left shin, left ankle. Maybe you can reach your left fingertips up towards the sky. And breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, we're going to come into a standing split to the top of the mat. Bring those right toes forward and then reaching your left toes up. And then from there, coming into a one-legged Tadasana. Bringing your left knee all the way in towards your chest. And then maybe you can straighten through the leg and breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, warrior 3. Bring your hands to heart center. You can also take airplane wings. And send your left leg up and back. Breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, we're going to come into a warrior 1. Back foot's going to land 45 degrees. Maybe widen your stance out a little bit as you reach your fingertips up. And then from there, we're going to bind our hands behind our back with our right thumb on top of our left. On the inhale, opening up the heart, open up through the collarbones, open up through the chest. Maybe your gaze goes up. On the exhale, humble your warrior. Let the right shoulder fall on the inside of that right thigh. Reaching your hands up and away. Sending your right hip back, your left hip forward for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, gently releasing the hands. Your left hand's going to come on the inside of that right foot. Your right fingertips are going to reach up. Easy twist. And then you're going to let your back knee fall down. Stay here in this twist. Maybe you can bend through your left knee and grab for the left foot with the right hand. If you have the space, you can roll onto the knife edge of your right foot. Open up the hip there. Maybe you can let your head fall back. If you need some more space, you can take a block underneath your left hand. Might make it grabbing the foot a little bit more accessible. And then wherever you're at, breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, gently releasing. Going through a vinyasa. Option for the arm balance here if you want to take that. As you shoot it back into your vinyasa, your flow. Meeting back in your downward facing dog. Good. From your downward facing dog, left leg up and away. 5 handstand hops. Go for it. For 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, left foot forward. Right foot back. High crescent lunge, reaching the fingertips up, taking an inhale. On the exhale, cactus out through the arms, let the back knee land. 45 degrees towards the right. Maybe your right hand reaches back for that back heel. Left arm reaches up and away. Maybe your gaze goes up and back. Good, reaching the fingertips back up. Same, other side. Left hand reaches back for that right heel. Right arm reaches up and away. Good, from there, prayer twist. Right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Finding your twist, lifting the back knee up. Hands at heart center. Pulling your left hip back, lengthening through the crown of the head. Open up the arms, take the bind for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, extended side angle, left hand on the inside of that left foot, back heel spins down. Maybe grab your block. Right arm reaches up. For 5, take the bind. For 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, coming all the way up and back, reversing your triangle, straightening through the left leg, left arm reaches up and away. And then finding your triangle pose, reaching the left hand as far forward as it will go. And then sliding it down that left shin, maybe grab your block. Reach for your ankle, your left big toe. And breathe here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, coming back into your reverse triangle. Picking up your left toes, turning them in so all 10 toes are facing in. And then looking down at the outside of your right shin, right ankle. We're going to grab it with our left hand. So maybe reach our right hand up. And breathe here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, standing splits at the top of the mat. Turning your left toes forward, reaching the right leg up and away. And then from there, right knee in towards your chest. Coming all the way up to standing, one-legged Tadasana. Reach your hands up. Stay there, straighten out through the right leg and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, warrior 3, hands at heart center, maybe your airplane wings, reaching your right leg up and behind you for 5. Lengthening through the crown of the head, the spine for 4, 3, 2. On 1, gently as you can, warrior 1. Back foot lands 45 degrees. Widen out your stance a little bit here. Reach the fingertips up. And then from there, interlacing your hands behind your back, left thumb on top of right this time. Inhale, opening up the heart, opening up the chest. Exhale, humbling your warrior. Left shoulder on the inside of that left thigh. And breathe here for 5. Left hip back, right hip forward for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, easy twist. Your right hand's going to come on the inside of that left foot. Back heel spins up. Left fingertips reach up. Then let your back knee fall down. Come into this twist here. Maybe you can reach back for your twisted lizard lunge and grab the foot with your left hand. Again, maybe take a block underneath that right hand for a little bit more space. Maybe you can come onto the knife edge of your left foot. Also for a little bit more space. And breathe here for 5. Maybe you can let your head fall back for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, vinyasa, arm balance is there. If you want it, shooting it back, meeting back, your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, just reach your right leg up and back. And then step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Bring your back knee down. Lizard lunge. And then again, like we did at the beginning of practice, we're going to walk our hands forward. Maybe you can come onto your forearms this time if you want to use your blocks for underneath your head or underneath your hands, your arms, you can do that. And then maybe notice how you have some more space in this one than the one at the beginning of practice. And then breathe here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, gently walking your hands back underneath your shoulders. And then we're going to heel to our right foot so it's at the center of our mat, and we're going to frame that foot with both of our hands. If you have your blocks, maybe place one under each of your hands. Then we're going to untuck our back toes and we're going to come into a Trikonasana lunge. So rooting down through the top of the back foot, we're going to lift our back knee up. Maybe use your blocks for some support. Maybe you can start to lift your hands up and really activate through that left glute, that left leg, and hold it here for 5. I know this can be difficult. Just stay there for 4. Activate through your core for 3, for 2. On 1, gently letting that knee fall down. And we're going to take a full split, Hanuman Asana. So straightening through that right leg. If half splits is enough for you, just go there. You have your blocks for some support. I like to take one underneath my front leg here. And then find your pose, find your stretch. Maybe you can lift your hands up and stay here for 10, for 9, for 8, for 7, for 6, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. On 1, gently bringing your hands down and gently releasing, coming out of it. Taking your time here to get yourself up and out. And then from there, we're just going to reach our right leg up and back, 3-legged dog. Take an inhale. On the exhale, find your half pigeon pose. Bring your right knee towards your right wrist, your right foot towards your left wrist. And then maybe try to make your front leg a little bit more, or your front shin a little bit more parallel to the top edge of your mat to find a little bit deeper of a stretch. But just go where it's good for you today. And then first finding a long spine, taking an inhale. And then the exhale, lowering down into it. And then if you want a little bit different of a variation here, you can walk your hands over towards the left hand corner of your mat. And breathe for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, gently walking your hands back underneath your shoulders. Tucking your back toes under, and then releasing how you'd like to release. If you want to take king pigeon, you can definitely do that. If you want to take a flip dog, you can do that. If you want to take it all the way into your wheel from there, you can do that as well. And we're going to meet up in our downward facing dog for the other side. Left leg reaches up and back. And then gently just stepping your left foot to the outside of your left palm. Back knee comes down, lizard lunge. Maybe starting to walk your hands forward. Maybe coming down to your forearms. And breathe here for 5. For 4. For 3. For 2. On 1, gently coming back up, heel toeing your left foot so to the center of your mat. Framing that foot with both of your hands, maybe grabbing your blocks for underneath your hands here. Rooting down through the top of the back foot. We're going to come into a Trikonasana lunge, reaching your back knee up and away. Reaching the fingertips up. Activating through your right glute here, left hip back, right hip forward, bending into that left knee. And breathe here for 5. Activate through your core. Hug your belly up and in for 4. 3. 2. On 1, gently as you can, lowering it down. And moving into your full splits, your half splits variation. Straightening out through that front left leg. Maybe grabbing a block for underneath that leg. Maybe you want both blocks for one for each of your hands. Finding the position that is best for you today. And maybe reaching your fingertips up and breathing here for 10, for 9, for 8, for 7, for 6, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, on 1, gently releasing. And taking your time to get yourself up and out of it. And then from there, reaching your left leg up and away. 3-legged dog, taking an inhale. And the exhale, half pigeon. Bring that left knee towards your left wrist, your right foot towards your right wrist. Getting that shin as parallel as you can without any pain, without any pinching in your knee or elsewhere. And then finding that long spine, taking an inhale. And then the exhale, lowering down. And then again, if you want something a little bit different, you can walk your hands over towards the right-hand corner of your mat. And breathe here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, gently coming out of it. Staying there if you need some more time. And then releasing how you want to release. If you want to bend through the back knee, grab the foot, you can do that. I'm going to take a wild thing into a wheel. And taking your time to get back into your downward facing dog. Good. From our downward facing dog, we're going to make our way on towards our back. If you want to practice your jump throughs and you have your block or 2 blocks, you can place them underneath your hands. And then just practice jumping through. Jumping your feet in between your arms. And then coming all the way down towards your back. Bringing your knees in towards your chest. Maybe taking a happy baby, grabbing for the inner outer edges of your feet, your big toes. Straighten through one leg and then the other. And setting up for a few rounds of back bends here. So you can start out with your bridge pose. If you have your block and you want to take a restorative bridge, you can just place that block on any height underneath your sacrum and chill out there. You can also interlace your hands behind your back. And you can stay there. And if you want to take a few rounds of wheel, you can go from there. You can also just take the block out from underneath you and start to come up. Feel free to move on your own here. If you'd rather take a plow into a shoulder stand, you're more than welcome. If you're ready for an inversion, a headstand, a handstand, a forearm stand, you're more than welcome to go there as well. If you're ready for your Shavasana, by all means, go there. Finishing out your practice in a way that is best for you. And if you are making your way into your Shavasana, I welcome you to get yourself as comfortable as possible. So maybe taking some blocks underneath your knees. If you have your bolster, it might be nice to use that as a pillow. You're placing it underneath your spine. Maybe you want to take your legs up to the wall. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. With so much grace, gratitude, and love. Peace. Hope to see you here again soon.